All right, so last Friday I covered the plight of young males in America, which is a topic that has been around for a long time. We've talked about it for a long time, but really now it's starting to get a whole lot of attention. Essentially, though, it's not the right kind of attention, right? We know the American male, especially young men, are being kicked to the curb. Now, ironically, it's sort of the same folks in the media and same folks who are in charge of certain aspects of society that ignored this issue, now sort of making fun of the crisis, saying it's really a code for something else. In fact, a recent piece in Political takes Sean Hawley to task for being a white man, saying that he was just part of the hyper-elite sort of credentialed people out there who have always been worried about gender. In fact, the article goes on to suggest that this has been a concern of the elites, including our founding fathers, mentioning that Hawley's a graduate of Stanford, at Yale Law School, and saying he's hardly the first white man with hyper-elite credentials to express this worry about American masculinity. Here's the thing. Yeah, it should go back to the beginning in the country and John Adams and Alexander Hamilton, because it's a critical reason I think America catapulted to the head of the class. I want to bring in now my next guest, who is far from an elitist. Not only has he been sounding the alarm for a long time, but he's actually doing something about it. My man, Jack Brewer, Brewer Foundation founder. Jack, you know, let's talk about this a little bit. This issue, as it has blossomed, you've talked about it for a long time. I've talked about it for a long time. I think it's always important to understand the genesis of these issues to somehow resolve them. Talk to us about that.
You know, the unfortunate reality is that we're in a society now where you can actually see the results of us just, you know, almost abandoning young boys and men. You know, and I focus on the youth so much, Charles, because I think when you start looking at reading and math proficiencies, and you start looking at, you know, how many of our young men who don't have fathers end up in prison or end up in jail, you start to really see what happens when you start rhetoric like toxic masculinity, and you stop teaching boys to actually be men. You see, you know, whether it's abuse and domestic violence, all those things are through the roof, and that's just because, you know, we don't teach men how to respect women, how to respect family, how to build family. Right. We're confusing them with all this gender ideology and really allowing them to think that being feminine is a good thing for a man.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, just when holding the door for a woman is a bad thing, or could be construed as a bad thing, I think we're moving in the wrong direction. I want to talk about what you've done, right. Some of the things you're doing, because I don't want to run out of time. JBF, the Jack Brewer Foundation, your hero Second Chance Initiative has been phenomenal. The most recent thing, I saw 50,000 pounds of food in the month of July, benefiting 1,000 families. You open up a new community care outreach center in Coral Springs. I mean, this is just absolutely phenomenal stuff, Jack. Tell us about this, because you really have been focusing on families that have been impacted by the criminal justice system.
Yeah, you know what, Charles? I serve on the board of directors of the GEO Group as well, and we've been able to go inside the prisons and actually bring real rehabilitation to men behind bars. Those same men are the men that are actually delivering the 50,000 pounds of food. You know, I sat next to Governor DeSantis, and we launched the fatherhood bill in the state of Florida. Yeah. And what we've been able to do with that is incredible, man. We're mentoring kids. These same men that are in prison are now coming outside that were fathers that left kids fatherless. Now they're actually mentoring kids all across
Jack,
South
I hate
Florida.
to jump in here. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but you are just proving one of the key components of America: forgiveness, and everyone is rehabilitated. We can rehabilitate anyone in this country, and you're doing it. Thank you so much, my friend.